Hello, it is so good to see you today. All right, this video is just for my friends that are feeling sad, overwhelmed, tired, a little anxious, maybe a little down, lacking energy. I mean, let's not even talk about motivation right now, right? So, if your new year is off to a great start and you're like, I'm kicking butt with decluttering and I'm getting things done and I feel good about it, I'm so happy for you. I'm thrilled for you. That's all I want for you, right? But this video might not be for you. So I want to talk to our other friends today. I know I mention all the time. I'm like in our membership group, we're talking about this, but this has been a common thread. I've talked about how we did like a really cool grief study back in December, and by David Kessler. But through that, um, I just realized how much we are all dealing with, and even when we have so much going on in life and so many hard things, that we're still so hard on ourselves about getting our homes decluttered and motivation on and all of that. So here are three things. I'm going to tell you the three things that I have learned beyond a shadow of a doubt. So I'm going to share the three things. We'll go through them individually. So number one is that sadness and motivation can't exist in the same place. Sadness and motivation can't exist in the same place. Being tired and overwhelmed and motivation cannot exist in the same place. Feeling anxious or down, it cannot coexist with motivation. Number two is, this one's a little, I don't like this one so much, but I believe it fully. Your home is a reflection of your inner world and how much you value yourself. So we've talked about this a little bit, but your home is a reflection of your inner world. And then I heard Ali Kasaza say this just recently on Instagram, that it's also a reflection of how much you value yourself. That was like a mic drop moment for me. We're going to talk a lot more about that one. But also, I have to bring the hope back in too. I fully believe this, and I know this, and I experienced this too, that there are ways to manufacture motivation when we're feeling sad, down, overwhelmed, anxious or unmotivated, because unfortunately, we also know now that our physical environment very much does play into our peace of mind and how we feel. And so sometimes it feels really like chicken and egg. Like, I know I would feel better if I got my house decluttered, but also because I don't feel good right now, I don't have the energy or the motivation to be able to do so. So let's go through these just a little bit more again. So, this idea that sadness and motivation can't exist in the same place. Again, I think for most of us, and I guess it's probably like a cultural thing too, but we believe that, I mean, pretty much we should just wake up feeling motivated each day. That we should, oh, that word should. I talked about this more last year. I'm like, we're not using that word anymore, right? But we should wake up ready to go and we've learned all these things about decluttering and we have these goals for our house. We should be able to do it. I mean, after all, isn't everyone else doing it and we're the only losers left behind that aren't getting our house done and meeting our goals and everything like that. And so this has been really profound in our membership group lately. This is not a pitch for our membership group. It is just, in fact, I'm going to talk about the Take Your House Back course because our next all day declutter is on Saturday. It's just where I have the most profound decluttering conversations and where we have been extending so much grace to one another recently. And it has been so good. And I feel like we have been all just really like understanding and empathetic of one another. And again, going through a grief study together, realizing how much sadness and anxiety just depletes you of any kind of extra bandwidth or willpower or motivation to do anything other than just survive right now. And I think what happened too through all of that is I realized just how many of us, like 80% of us right now, are dealing with really hard things. And we just came through the holidays. I mean, what a reminder of everything sad, right? There's so many good things, but they both exist often. But um, that when we are feeling sad, we're processing emotions, we're having reminders of things, we're feeling overwhelmed or anxious, motivation has left the building. And there's nothing wrong with you for that. That is completely normal. That happens to go into just like a survival mode of just getting the bare necessities done and barely that some days, right? It's just very natural and very normal. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with you if you have been noticing that about yourself and if you are just like, I really want to get my house decluttered this year, but yeah, no, there's no extra motivation or bandwidth to dedicate to that right now. You are completely normal. And like that is not like that's so common right now. And I know sometimes we like go, I don't know, maybe it's just the people I follow on Instagram or like sometimes you go on and you see social media or different things, you're just like, everyone's slaying it right now, right? Except me. Yeah, no, it definitely you're not alone. Um, Number two though, this idea, I've thought this before that that our home is often a reflection of our inner world. Like if our house is messy, it generally kind of means that things inside of our brain and mindset are kind of messy right now. But or it's a reflection of a season you came through. I do think there's times where we are getting through the hard seasons and we are feeling a little bit better and a little bit more normal and more like ready to tackle things. And our home is simply a reflection of the season that we just came through. And so in our membership group, we're really trying to get our household systems in place here in the new year. And so I was showing like my action bin for like all the, just like bills and papers and stuff that you have to deal with. And it is much fuller than it normally is. And I was saying how, in the past, I would have beat myself up over that. Like, Dawn, you have these systems and why aren't you doing it? You just have to sit down with it once a week. Like, why did you let it get with like this? And I missed a thing. There's a thing back in October, like friends asking for like a donation for something, and their event is long past. And I'm like, yep, totally didn't get to that. Right. And I could feel bad about it. And like I'm kind of a loser and I've gotten behind. Or or I could look at my overflowing action bin and be like, that is data. And the data that I am collecting from that is that we just came through a really chaotic season. And there was sickness and there was kid stuff and there was all these things going on. And so all that is telling me, all a full action bin is telling me right now is that, wow, I just came through a busy season, right? There must have been a lot going on right now if you weren't staying totally on top of that. And that's okay. And so even as we look around our homes right now, and if it is a little more messy and more cluttered than you would like for it to be, maybe you've made progress in the past and now you feel like you're going backwards. Could we just be like really nice to ourselves right now and say, you're right. That is data. And yes, I went through a sad season or an overwhelmed, or and maybe I'm still in it, right? And so all that is doing is showing me data because again, sadness and motivation do not exist in the same space. So I should not have that expectation of myself that as I was going through this tough season and dealing with this stuff and having new things I was having to navigate and learn and take care of, that also I was going to be superwoman and also be getting my house decluttered and all these other things that I was hoping to do. And so would it be possible if here at the beginning of the new year, we started looking at our surroundings and the things around us simply as data that are indicative of the season we just came through? And I think if we can begin to do that and we take that pressure off of ourselves, then it actually does make it easier to talk about number three and the different ways that we can manufacture motivation. But real quick, also, I did say at the beginning of the year, I was like, my New Year's resolution is to not people please anymore. I have to tell you, I think it has been going really well. And by people please, even, I mean, I think what I'm really meaning by it is not try to manage other people's like feelings and emotions and all their things. Like me, like Mel Robbins has that book out now, like called like Let Them, right? Like this just like understanding where my control and my influence ends, right? With me. And not trying to manage all that stuff for others as well. And I didn't even realize Mel will talk a lot with her kids too. And I thought, like, well, your kids are older, so that makes sense. Like, they get to a point where we kind of have to like back off and not meddle. But I even realized, even with our kids, their ages 10 through 15 now, how much I was trying to like run interference and cushion and, be like, oh, no, no, but this is, all, and how actually they are all old enough now where they can be trusted with learning how to manage their emotions and their feelings and responses to things. And they don't need mom coming in all the time. And I didn't even think of myself as like a, controlling. I'm like, I'm a cool mom. Like, I'm chill, like all this. And then I realized, like, oh, yeah, no, yeah, still there, very much so. And so as I've been able just to like back off of that a little bit, it was so good. But I bring that up because we were also talking about how this idea of like people pleasing and all that, like which as women we're so good at, and like most of us like fall into that trap at times. But not only do we people please, we also have a tendency to stuff please, like to feel this like obligation or responsibility to our stuff, to our physical things, like, oh, well, that was a gift, or oh, I spent money on it, or oh, I should fit into that. And so we like feel this need to anything that we've like ever bought or got or consumed, right? That I somehow have to create like the perfect scenario around it where I am using it and enjoying it and appreciate it instead of just being able to say like I'm not using it. It's not adding value. Therefore, I'm tossing it in a donation box and moving on with life, right? And so we have these like complicated relationships with our stuff too. And in many ways, it's like stuff pleasing, similar to how we sometimes fall into people pleasing. And so those have been like very, very helpful realizations for me and others as we've been talking about it. I also shared recently too, last time we went live, talking about even the idea that starting, to shift our perspective of how we look at stuff is that we hire stuff to do a job. And that's been also very helpful as I think about like stuff pleasing and not getting so like caught up in these emotions with my stuff of like, hey, I hired you to do a job. And if you're not doing the job, like you're fired, man, right? Like you are let go. You are blessed into your next season, right? Like go work for someone else. Like hopefully you can go work for someone else. Like if someone else can use you, like let them have you, right? I don't need to waste my time and energy right now. Like here we are, already another new year, right? Like if that's not data to work with, how fast time goes. I mean, my goodness. So anyways, so those have been like some really key mindset shifts that we've been talking through that have been really helpful. But I think the first one are around really like letting ourselves off the hook if we've been going through a tough season has been like the most profound. And I just want to extend that same invitation to you that man, we just gotta stop being so hard on ourselves. It and mostly because it does make it actually harder to do the decluttering work than when we are just piling so much guilt and shame and all those things on top of ourselves. So, permission to just look at your surroundings right now as data and data of the season that you've come through. Now, with all that being said, we can extend grace all day long, which is good and awesome. And also still really want to get our house decluttered because we know we are going to feel better and more at peace. And many of us want that for our family too. Like we really want our kids to grow up in a home that is not so stressful. The world is stressful enough, right? Creating this like really safe place for everyone in our household to come home to, believing you are worthy of that and our family is too. And so how do we then, number 3, how do we go about manufacturing motivation? So a few tools that are just so I mean they have become the foundation of our membership group is 5 minutes matters. So you set the timer for 5 minutes, you pick a small manageable task, and it might just be clearing your like one section of kitchen counter. It might be getting the dishwasher going, a load of laundry going. The key though, as we look at this like 5 minute task that we're going to do, the key is to hopefully find something that you can fully complete. And so that's why I say don't even necessarily set the goal to clear all your kitchen counters. Maybe it's just your island or one section, because there is something about completing a task that creates more motivation, or momentum is the better word for it, because we do get a dopamine release from completing something and looking back and being like, ooh, that looks better now. That feels better. And that's what then inspires us. So again, if we're talking about manufacturing motivation, when I set the timer, I have no motivation. I don't care. I'm just like, whatever, I'm going to try this thing Dawn talks about all the time. And I'm going to 5 minutes matters. I'm going to set the timer and I'm going to do the thing for 5 minutes, even though it's the last thing I want to do right now. And it is amazing. And you know this, right? Like it's amazing that 98% of the time the timer will go off, the 5 minutes is done, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to do a little more. But what's so cool about it and why it's so helpful, it's not actually because of what we get done. It's that often when we're feeling down, sad, overwhelmed, anxious, we get caught in a cycle of rumination in our brain. And you know this, we're just like circling things over and over again. And rumination isn't bad. It's actually a safety mechanism for our brain. Like our brain is like, there's something wrong. We need to solve it. And so that it's not a threat in the future. Therefore, I am going to rerun it until we find a solution. The problem being that a lot of these things we're dealing with right now, there is not a solution to difficult dynamics with friends, family, coworkers, you name it, right? Health challenges that don't have an answer right now. And so, unfortunately, this safety mechanism that was built into our brain is not serving us right now because there's no solution to be had. And so, the way we get out of that and can kind of break that cycle a little bit is by doing some kind of often. I mean, there's multiple ways, but one way is to do some kind of physical thing. So when you pair physical movement, moving around, tidying up, physical movement with bringing your environment into order because clutter feels chaotic to our brain. It releases stress hormones. So when we pair like just kind of our body moving with bringing our physical environment into order, it's actually a very powerful combination. And it does help us to shift over to a different part of our brain where we are a little more optimistic. We're a little bit more focused actually on problem solving, but in a practical way. I can't solve this whole big thing that's going on right now, but I can do this. Or it helps me to remember, like, that's actually that's their thing, not mine. I was starting to take it on again, but there's nothing I can do. I've done what I can. And so even though when we get over here and we're moving, we're doing our 5 minutes matters, nothing has changed with our circumstances, but we can be a little more optimistic about it. So 5 minutes matters is a powerful tool that we use. Another thing that we do often is body doubling. So, in both our membership group and Take Your House Back, we have live body doubling going on. But if you, again, I don't care, don't sign up for that. You can also just put on a video. So that's why Clean With Me videos are very popular. We have our long format decluttering videos too, that you can put on some kind of video of someone doing stuff, and then you work alongside them. So body doubling is so powerful. We draw on the energy of others. And then the third thing, and the way we're using that even a little bit differently currently in this new year, is that we're using that as our container because often we have our container for decluttering because often we're like, okay, I want to declutter, I want to get my house decluttered. And it's kind of just this like big thing hanging over our head, but we don't really have a game plan for it. And so now we're using like our body doubling sessions as a container, and we're saying like, okay, when I log on to that, and we do it twice a day in our group, when I log on at 10 a.m. on Monday mornings or Tuesday mornings, I'm just going to declutter for the hour that we're all together, and that's my container. I'm going to go on, I'm going to do as much as I can, as much as I'm physically able to, mentally able to during that time, and then when it's done, I'm done for the day. And so you can do that with like a video or something too. Like I'm going to put on this 15-minute video while it's going. I'm going to work. When it's done, I'm done. And so we're starting to put like containers around our decluttering, which has also been really helpful because again, it can just kind of like hang out there like this big open-ended task that I need to do. But again, that's difficult for our brain to know what to do with too, other than just feel guilty about it. And so putting a container around your decluttering time has been really helpful. So we say, okay, I'm going to show up, I'm going to do it this time. And then the rest of the time, I don't have to worry about that. So those are some of our ways that we manufacture motivation that have been really good. Also working with others. That's the power of body doubling. I was joking like I should make a t-shirt that says like, friends don't let friends declutter alone, right? Because especially if we're in a sad, overwhelmed, anxious season right now, we're not meant to be alone. Actually, being alone, I mean, we're talking about safety things in our brain. Alarms go off in our brain when we're alone all the time. We're not meant to be alone. We're meant to do things in community. And I know with decluttering, we're often like, I got myself into this mess. I need to get myself out. That is like totally the wrong approach. It is friends don't let friends declutter alone because collectively, and we know this now about human beings, like we co-regulate. Like being around other humans helps us to feel at peace and at ease. Now, caveat, if we're around other like anxious and wound up individuals, uh they're not the best to co-regulate with, right? Like we want to be around people that have similar mindsets or hopefully a little bit more positive, helping us. They don't have to be like a rah rah life coach, like but just like, I mean, there are people that are better to co-regulate with than others, right? But we need, when we are in a season of feeling sad or down, we need to be around others because we co-regulate with them. It helps bring our mood up a little bit. We draw, oh wow, that was fun. I keep my thumbs down. We draw on their energy, and that is very powerful. And so doing stuff with others, maybe you have a friend, maybe you can FaceTime with someone, maybe you can text back and forth and send pictures like, hey, this is my project for today. Or sometimes we do decide to invest in something like our membership group or the Take Your House Back course because you have instant friends then. I've been in a season, we probably shared more about this on my twin sister Diana's channel. I've been in a season of rebuilding my friendships. And sometimes friends ditch out. We don't always understand why. It's a little disillusioning, don't get me wrong. And then we have to like rebuild friendships. And unfortunately, that takes like time and energy and bandwidth. And when you're feeling sad or down, the last thing you want to do is put yourself out there to make new friends. Oh, gross, right? Like, ugh. But I was gonna say, but we can buy friends, right? But we can join supportive communities and we have like instant friends around us. Like if you join us for the all day declutter on Saturday, you're gonna have thousands of friends around you and women around you cheering you on and saying, you've got this. And if you post in our groups and are just like, oh, I don't know what to do with this, kind of do I have permission to let this go? I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed. You're gonna have like boom, 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 like multiple people being like, you've got this, let it go. It's okay. I let go of that and I don't miss it, right? And it is like so fun and encouraging. So talk about manufacturing motivation. Sometimes we just got to get ourselves into a supportive community of others who understand why we're doing what we're doing, why we're getting rid of perfectly good things, and where we can draw on their energy and their positivity. So our next all day declutter is coming up this Saturday, and you can join the Take Your House Back course for just $94 right now. I have a link in the description. We do have a payment plan if you want to break it up into 3 payments available as well. If you are currently a member, you would have an email about renewing. If it's just $10 to renew, then every year after. So if you're like, oh no, did I renew or whatever, just look in your emails, or you can email support@takeyourhouseback.com. But it is such a cool and powerful and encouraging community. And again, even on Saturday for our all day declutter, it goes from 8 to 4, 8 hours of live decluttering. Even if you're like, I don't have energy. Like how, like we just tell you, you just have to show up. Like you legit just have to show up. We bring the energy and the motivation and the guidance. Like we're guiding you for 6 of the 8 hours on Saturday through decluttering. And then on Sunday, we're doing a live replay of them as well. So I'm going to play this.
This course has changed my life.
And this is coming from 3 of us who are messy people who used to always we're not like naturally organized people that have never had a pile in our life. We are all pilers.
I've always wanted to be organized and I never felt like I was until now.
You're looking at your stuff, it's either there because it's homeless, it's there because putting it away is too far, or it's there because you haven't taken the time to actually do it. That's it. That's it.
I used to read magazines and articles and blogs. I had shelves full of books that I'd read about time management and home management and organization. Things would sometimes stick, but I never really felt like I was making progress.
What do you replace the I paid this much money thought?
I think it was Peter Walsh who said, you're not any richer for having something in your house, and you're not going to be any poorer for letting it go. Your stuff is not money. Your stuff is just stuff. The money is gone the minute you buy it.
I think this course brings out the best out of all 3 of them, and I love having all of their ideas in one place.
My value now is in a house that is so easy to pick up and maintain. I'm not yelling at the kids when like my mom was coming over yesterday. There was no yelling. We could all pick up the house. And I'm just like, I am so grateful for this.
These ladies are awesome. They're fun. They're funny. They're motivating. Their energy is totally contagious. And you can tell they genuinely just want to help us because they've all been in our position of that overwhelm and frustration.
If everything or most things are a no, what then?
It's awesome.
You win. You won the game.
That's great. That's all. That's a goal here.
I know it's going to change your home. It changed mine. Good luck.
That's so good. I'm telling you, if you just need some to laugh, to have some supportive people around you right now, again, like, of course, I would love if we all had that, like, real life, real friends, like, and all that, and I hope we're all working towards that, right? If we don't right now, but also, could we come around you right now and be those friends for you and bring the support and the encouragement and help you get your house decluttered? Because I'm telling you, when you get your house decluttered, do we still have sad seasons and sometimes feel down, maybe a little overwhelmed? Yes, but we don't live there so much, I don't feel like, and it's easier to navigate. Like, life still happens even once we get our home simplified, but I do feel like it's been so much easier to navigate the bumps and to be in a mindset where we can problem solve and figure things out and, like, parenting, learn new things and be like, "Oh, so this is what we're doing now. Okay," right? Everything just feels more manageable in a highly simplified home, and so, man, I want that for you so much. This year, I want you to feel successful, and here's what's so cool, though, about decluttering. A lot of we're at the beginning of a new year, and a lot of times we're like, "I wanna lose weight, and I wanna get out of debt, and I wanna get my house decluttered." Do you know what is so cool about decluttering? You can see instant results. If you declutter with us for 8 hours, if you're physically able, on Saturday, maybe you pop back in on Sunday, you can make huge progress, especially if you, like, send the kids and your spouse or other housemates out and you just, like, go to town. This is a time multiplier, and we have a full 1-year warranty. Like, if you don't feel like you get $94 worth of value, I mean, you're gonna get that in the first all day declutter, like the first 2 hours of the all day declutter. But if you don't feel like you get that value, we just give you your money back. We don't want your money. We want you to be successful with getting your house decluttered because we will all three of us former messy people will tell you it is one of the best and most empowering things that we have ever done. And we really want that for you. So I hope you could join us on Saturday. It all takes place like we have a private Facebook group that goes along with it just for fun and encouragement. It's so fun. But everything takes place over a private YouTube link. So like if you're on here, you can do it. Super easy to jump in and to participate. We guide you. So we're working in the kitchens, but for the first 3 hours, but you can pick a different area if your kitchen's good. But we're guiding you. It is very interactive. Like we're going to do this and then this. We're giving you permission. I believe you can get 2 to 3 times as much decluttering with us guiding you as if you would just do it on your own. I see it as a huge time multiplier. All right, I've kind of been keeping the blinders on to the comments so I didn't get sidetracked. But if you have any questions about the Take Your House Back course or the All Day Declutter, if you want to put that in there, and I would be happy to answer those. And if you put a question mark in front of it, it's a little bit easier. If you posted before, then I didn't see it, so go ahead and post it again. Oh, I'm sorry to hear this. I see it's like I did it last year. I flopped. My dad had cancer. He's good now. Mom was in rehab, so I did as much work as at his house and mine. Yeah, I should have asked for money back then, but I didn't. Well, Chrissy, I hope you can jump in and use it now. Otherwise, I will give you your money back. Again, will always give you your money back. I don't like, I just want you to have a decluttered house. Don, when are you and Dana going to be in Florida? I know. I wish I could travel around to everyone's home. That would be like so cool. It's hard because I love this. I mean, how cool that we've all gotten to be friends, over YouTube and I can come into your home like this. I was joking the other day that like, Dawn's a 4-letter word in some of people's homes. But I mean, I love that we can connect over this, but man, to be able to meet you and hug you in person would be like just the coolest ever. Um, are you coming into people's houses to help decluttering for $94? I'm new. So no, actually, so I do it with Cass from Clutterbug and Dana from A Slob Comes Clean, and we're each in our own homes when we're decluttering. I'm gonna be at my mom's house on Saturday. I've been helping her to get some things in order there. So I'll be live from mom's house, but it's been fun and she's done so much on her own, and now it's been kind of fun to come back through and decluttering. So each of the three of us are in our own homes, but guiding you and instructing you and helping you through your spaces. Mel says, how best to organize when I like out of sight and my guys have got to see it all. Yeah, Cass will talk about that. So Cass has her Clutterbug types and you have visual organizers and hidden. I'm very much a hidden organizer. I don't want to see all the stuff, and you can probably tell that like when you look at our house. Um, so Cass will say, unfortunately, that you do need to default to the visual person when you're organizing like joint stuff. But the key is low inventory for visual people, because if everything's out, nothing is actually like prioritized or visual. So you do have to prioritize, like lean towards the visual people, but you have to keep it simplified. And that is sometimes hard for visual people. Like Casa said, those who are visual are usually like more, or they keep more inventory. They have a harder time letting stuff go. So it's kind of a tug of war a little bit, but you got to keep the inventory down if you're a visual organizer. Awesome. Thank you. I live in Minnesota. I'd love to be your friend. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Yay, Chrissy says I'm cleaning right now. Yes. Yeah, come to Niagara Falls, New York during good weather, right? I don't know. If, are you guys getting the same cold weather? It is. Oh, we're up to 4 degrees now in Minnesota. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yay, Ashley says, clearing out my kitchen right now. Thanks for your help. Watch your videos back to back all morning. That's awesome. See? Yeah, that is legit body doubling, right? You just put them on, let them play in the background. So that is so cool. And I'm so proud of you, Ashley. That is awesome. Let's see here. Awesome. So it would be so fun though if you can join us on Saturday. Um, like I said, there's replays available of the all day declutter. You actually, when you join the course too, you get access to all the past all day declutter replays. So many say that they like to put those on in the background. And often the question comes up like, well, how is it different from your YouTube videos? Like you guys all do YouTube videos. What you're going to find with the all day declutters is they're very instructional. So a lot of times on our YouTube videos, we're like, top 5 tips for this and that, Cass will often say like, for a YouTube video, you got to make it clicky and it has to move along and all that, where the all day declutters are different because it's all decluttering, and it's like very instructional and like, what do I do with this, and what about this, I paid money for this. And so it is all focused on actual decluttering, like we're decluttering with you and walking you through some of those tricky things, and we're giving you permission, and we're telling you why, like logically, why it's okay to let these things go. So it's definitely a much different vibe than it is on a lot of our YouTube videos. And again, the group energy, that's what I sometimes have difficulty putting words to, is there's something about thousands of women, I think it's mostly all women, coming, like thousands of us coming together and decluttering, and how you can actually feel the energy of us all working together, even though we're all at a distance. It's really cool how it works. And so there's something about it on those days. And that's why so many say, um, it's a time multiplier, and they go a lot further and they get a lot more done than they even would have expected on that day. Are the spice jars worth it? I would rebuy those spice jars all day, every day. Totally, 1000%. Now, I I can't speak for everyone. I don't know, but for myself, yes, I would rebuy those spice jars all day long. So, and we're like, I don't know, when did we do that? The end of the summer? Midsummer? So, I mean, we're good. We've tested it for a while. So, yeah. 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 Ooh, trying to convert a playroom to a bedroom, so much work. Yeah, that is a lot of work. Keep it up. That's awesome. Yeah, my problem is I'm all caught up on your videos, right? So if you need more content, Kayla, stop on over for the all day declutter. Is the course $94? Yeah, right now it's on sale for $94 just through Friday. And then the price will go back up. So if you are interested, jump in now, and don't go past Friday. Oh, thank you. I love the video you made in the cabin recently. Very inspiring. Thank you. Yeah, I love that too. I don't know. I mean, I have only gone further. I thought as the kids got older, I'm like, "Oh, maybe I'll have a little more inventory and whatnot." I'm like, "Oh, no." Like, there's and all of you with older kids, like, know this. There's, like, no time. Like, and we keep our calendar, like, reined in, but man, there just so much going on, and it's good stuff. Like, it's like, I'm happy about it all, and it's good, and, like, but there's no time, and I don't care. Like, I don't miss the stuff. And I know if down the road I'm like, "Ooh, I wanna do this hobby or I wanna do this again," then maybe at that time, then I will just get a minimal amount of stuff around that. Like, even that I would look at so much differently. So, man, I don't miss it. I don't look back. I'm only just like, I want more freedom. I want less stuff to manage. Like, it's just not what we're meant for, right? Like, we are not meant to manage all this stuff. Yeah, Andy says the ADD is just more productive than watching a YouTube video. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. What is included with the Take Your House Back subscription? Okay, I'm glad you asked. So you get the full Take Your House Back course, which has instructional videos with Das and Kana and I, Cass and Dana and I. So we do like very in depth, like Dana's how to declutter without making a mess. Cass and I go into paper clutter. So very instructional course videos that you can go through. And then 3 times a year, we do the all day declutters. So 8 hours live on a day and then replays available. This year, we're doing the live replay on Sunday, which I'm really excited about from 8 to 4 again. And then also every 2 weeks, we go live and answer questions. So we rotate through the three of us. We come together a few times as well. It's so fun. So we're just constantly trying to answer your questions, give you permission, motivation. So lots of ongoing content. $94 is a steal. Like it's like for how much value you get with all of it, but we want it to be practical and accessible and all of that. So if someone doesn't have Facebook, what would they be missing out on versus the YouTube only? Yeah, so it's all the same like course and everything. We just provide multiple ways for you to experience it. So if you don't join the Facebook group, that's just where we have like really good community interaction before and afters, celebrating with you, saying, "Wow, good job." If you need help with an area, you can post in there. So that's really the core of where like the community aspect of it takes place. But even if you're just getting, the YouTube side of it with our live decluttering and all of that, you're still going to get a ton of value. Yeah, no, this is good. Dawn, I have 4 kids, 4 and under. Please tell me this all gets easier as they get older. Yeah, my sister says this because her 4 are 1 through 6 right now, and she's like, "You better tell me it gets easier." It gets so much easier, especially as you continue to clutter and simplify. It's just a different kind of busy. No, I don't want to go back to those years, quite frankly. I love the ages that our kids are right now. Adeline just got her permit and we're navigating that, and it's been so fun driving with her. I love it. It's she like, like those of you been through it, like learning like stopping distance, and she was like, we're going into a parking spot. We're like, whoa, okay, yep, but it's like a blast. Like we're having so much fun. Um, it gets so much easier. It's just a different kind of busy than what you're experiencing right now. Yeah, husband is a hoarder, keeps everything. If something has value, even just a few dollars, he won't even donate. I desperately want to declutter, but feel defeated. Yeah, so we actually talk a lot about getting spouses on board, partners, other people in our household. Now hoarding, I don't want to speak necessarily to hoarding if he actually has like hoarding disorder. But it's a slow go, like not gonna lie. It's a marathon, like an ultra marathon. But as you get your spaces in order, we do find that many are able to start having conversation with their spouse about common areas and setting boundaries about how much stuff is allowed in there. But you have to build up your confidence in yourself and why you're decluttering. You have to experience the peace in your areas. They have to observe that, and then they start to come around. So it's a long game play for sure. But having supportive community around you for it actually can make a really huge difference. Yeah, good. I love opening my cabinets and seeing all my spice jars lined up. Makes my heart happy, not gonna lie. Yeah, and I'm not even a super, organizy person. Yes, but is that for the area? Yeah, $94 for the year, so you get a full year access to all that stuff I mentioned, and then if you wanna renew, it's just $10 a year. So you'll never have to pay $94 again. Any tips on how to get a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old on board with decluttering toys? Yeah, so I like to draw on the wisdom of Kim John Payne from the book Simplicity Parenting. He's a child psychologist, therapist, expert, whatever. He has worked with lots of families with simplifying. And so what he recommends is that you look at all your toys and you cut them in half. So you just box up the other half, look for ones that are broken, outgrown, the toys that they're not going to miss so much, but you just box them up and set them aside. And you can actually do this without your kids. I know often as parents, we worry about traumatizing our kids or going too far without them, whatnot. But he says, nope, you absolutely have permission to do this without your kids there. So you box up half of them and you just pack them away, set them aside. Then when your kids come back in and they're like, where'd the extra toys go? Honestly, 5 and 2, they very well might not even notice that they're gone. They're just going to think you cleaned up. And then, so set them aside. If there's something you need, you can pull it back out. And then 2 weeks later, you cut them in half again. And you keep going until you get to a manageable amount. How you know it's a manageable amount is that they can pick them up and manage them on their own. So at any age and stage, your kids should be able to pick up their toys on their own or with very little involvement from you. If they still can't, that means you have too many. My sister, she was just lamenting about this recently, that she had highly, highly, highly simplified their toys and they still weren't picking them up at the end of the night. I'm like, well, you just got to go further. She's like, Dawn, you don't understand. We have like no toys anymore. And I'm like, and you still need to go further, right? Like if they can't pick them up, that's what the data is telling you. You're not a jerk. It is just simple math data, matter of fact. So she got rid of even more. They did not miss them, and now they are able to pick it up. And a great phrase, I've been talking about this a lot recently, so forgive me though, is that if you pick it up, you keep it. If I pick it up, I keep it. And if they're not willing to keep it up, get it out of there. They are giving you valuable information that they don't care about it, and you can't care about it more than they do. How do I know if I can do it? Simplifying sounds dreamy, but I sometimes feel I just don't have what it takes. I see others organize and I don't understand how they do it. Well, so I think that's why we start with decluttering. You have what it takes because here's why I tell you that because living with all of this stuff around us is actually not a natural state to live in at all. Our brains were not meant to manage inventory. It's very stressful to us. It's unnatural to have all this stuff that we're trying to manage around us. So that's why I know you can do it because our most natural state is in a very simple, very peaceful environment. But you may have to bring in some extra support and like bring others around you to be able to achieve that. And so that's where something like a course or a membership group or something like that, it doesn't have to be ours. I don't care. But finding a support system around you to help build up your confidence in yourself. And we go a little bit at a time. So, all day declutters and everything are great. But if you're still more at the beginning of your journey, then we just take small steps so you build up your confidence in yourself as you go. So we work on decluttering and then at the end we organize. But when you have so much less to organize, you're going to be much more successful with it. It's hard to organize when we still have way too much inventory. How do I repurchase for this year? Just looked at my student profile. I didn't complete anything. Yeah. So if you're able to log in, you don't need to renew right now. You haven't hit your renewal date. But otherwise, for anyone, you'll have an email from support@takeyourhouseback.com, or you can email support@takeyourhouseback.com and they will help you out with that. Let's see. Yay, I'm out of stuff to declutter for the moment. Go you, V. That's awesome. You're so cool. You're a rock star. That's awesome. Way to go. I'm so proud of you. So, all right, I'm gonna play one more little video quick. I really hope you could join us.
This course has changed my life.
Like I was really messy, and I grew up in a messy house, and I didn't realize you could actually live without all the junk.
And with the help of Dana and Dawn and Cass, I have managed to continue my journey.
But I love how this course combines the three of them into a more comprehensive, thorough look.
I've been able to keep things simple where my kids can help both with their laundry and their toys, and we can be in a settled space in no time.
Like the all-day declutters are amazing. First one I did was in May, and I reclaimed 3 rooms of my house and got rid of like 2 carloads full of stuff.
And I would highly recommend it even for people who are naturally organized.
Try it. See what it'll happen. You never know until you do.
Yay. You never know, man. If you need extra support, may we please help you. We would love to be your friends. We have so much fun in there too. I mean, you have to imagine, right? Cass and Dana and I together. I've often joked like there's a lot of things I'm not good at, but I do think we are like the dream team when it comes to decluttering. Like we've got it dialed in. Like I said, this is our 12th or 13th all day declutter. We know how to guide you and to help you, and it's really powerful. So hopefully we will get to hang out and spend the day together on Saturday. If not, that's fine. Like we'll hang out here. I love this too, so it's good. But if you just need a little more help, you need a friend to come alongside you, we would love to be able to do that for you. All right. Well, there's a link in the description. So hopefully I'll get to see you on Saturday. But I love you. I hope you have a really good day, and I'll see you again soon.